Hello, welcome to the first video in English from Maatwielen, my wheel building company in the Netherlands. Now, there are a couple of videos already on my YouTube channel, but these were recorded in Dutch, although I've inserted subtitling in English for half of them. In due course, I intend to provide subtitling for the other videos as well. The videos on my YouTube channel are about wheel building and wheel repair and everything involved in them. Every video focuses on one particular aspect of wheel building or wheel repair. For example, in this video, we will be looking at a small part of a particular hub and the problems involved. Whether you just like to watch these kind of videos or you want to build or repair a wheel or wheel set yourself, either way, I hope you like the videos and subscribe to my channel. Don't hesitate to comment on the videos or to ask questions in the section below. This video will show you how to remove the ring nut from DT Swiss 3-Pawl and Ratchet hubs. This is a 3-Pawl hub, which is the type of hub I will be working on in this video. This is a Ratchet hub. Here you can see the ratchets. This is what a ring nut looks like. It is screwed into the hub shell like this. In 3-Pawl hubs, the pawls engage with the toothed ring nut when pedaling, transmitting pedal power to the wheel. In ratchet hubs, one ratchet sits in the ring nut. You can see the ring nut here. Here's the ring nut. One ratchet sits into the ring nut, and the other one sits in the body. So when pedaling, one ratchet engages with the other. Now, DT Swiss 3-Pawl and Ratchet hubs both have 4 bearings. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 in the body and 2 in the hub itself. 3 of them are easy to remove and replace, but the 4th one, this one, is not easy to replace. Replacing this bearing wouldn't be a problem if it could simply be tapped out like the other 3, but this one sits behind the infamous ring nut, which has to be removed first before the bearing can be removed. Fortunately, this bearing is the one least exposed to dirt and moist, and therefore usually the last to be needing replacement. It sounds pretty straightforward: unscrewing the ring nut, removing and replacing the bearing, and screwing the old ring nut back in, or a new one if the old one is damaged. Unfortunately, it's not so easy. First, you need to find and buy the right ring nut removal tool. Second, the ring nut tends to be very tight indeed, because it basically has got tighter with every pedal stroke. This is what the ring removal tool looks like. The removal tool for 3-pole hubs, this one here, has a larger diameter than the one for ratchet hubs and has sharper slanted teeth. This is the removal tool for ratchet hubs. Unfortunately, this tool is quite expensive, somewhere in the range of $60 or $65. This picture shows both tools. On the left the tool for ratchet hubs, on the right the one for 3-pole hubs, which is the one I will be using to remove the ring from a hub a client asked me to service. By the way, EAN refers to European article number. Now, sometimes tools designed for one particular purpose can be used for another, unintended purpose. I know that a particular cassette removal tool, similar to these here, can be used to loosen the ring nut for ratchet hubs, but it should be borne in mind that using such tools carries an increased risk of damaging the ring nut, because they will never fit as well as the right one. Actually, it's even more difficult and perhaps impossible to find an alternative removal tool for the 3-pole ring nut because of its sharp slanted teeth. Now, back to the ring nut. This ring nut here, the one for 3-pole hubs, is the one I'm going to try to get out. And this is a new ring nut for ratchet hubs. This picture shows the ring nut for 3-pole hubs with product codes. There is another ring nut for 3-pole hubs, but this one is by far the most common. This picture shows the other ring nut for 3-pole hubs with product codes. This one is only used in some DT Swiss wheels with oversized hybrid hubs. Hybrid in this context basically means suitable for e-bike or heavy duty. As you can see, it has a larger diameter. And this picture shows the ring nut for ratchet hubs with product codes. At the bottom of the screen you can see the hub models the ring nut is compatible with. Actually, the latest DT Swiss 240 hubs don't have a ring nut. Now this picture also shows a ring nut for ratchet hubs, but with different product codes. You might come across it while looking for a replacement ring. The difference is that this one is made of aluminium and the previous one of steel. As the ring nut transmits all pedal power to the wheel, I would strongly recommend using a ring nut made of steel. So use the one in the previous picture and not this one. Back to our project. You not only need a removal tool, you also need a bench vise to hold the tool firmly in place. In addition, you need the whole wheel to be able to apply the amount of torque required. First you can try to loosen the nut without the use of any additional help other than muscle power. If the ring nut doesn't move, heat it with a hot air gun or another heat source, as aluminium expands more than steel when heated. Don't overdo it, but continue heating it until faint ticking noises can be heard, indicating expanding metal. Take care not to heat anything other than the ring and hub shell. If the ring nut still won't budge, find a long piece of wood and fix it to the wheel rim to get extra leverage, like this. Make sure you don't damage the rim. You can see that the nut is already loose here, so these images don't show the actual attempt. But it was not until I first heated the ring nut with a hot air gun that I managed to loosen it by using this method. It just so happened that while I was working on the other wheel, I received this wheel from another client, also with a DT Swiss 3 Pawl hub. The ring nut in this hub had to be removed as well. I found that proper heating is key. Although the ring nut was very rusty, I actually managed to get the ring nut out without having to use the piece of wood. Now, back to our project. We can now remove the ring nut and remove the bearing behind it. Here I'm selecting the right tool for installing the new bearing. After thoroughly cleaning the ring nut and hub, I installed the new bearing on the body side and the one on the other side with the axle in place. It's a bit difficult to see, unfortunately, but it's not so important. This is the old bearing. The outer diameter is 28 millimeters. The inner diameter is 15 millimeters and the width is 7 millimeters. The hub bearing on the other side has the same dimensions. I've applied some ceramic assembly paste to the thread of the ring nut. I don't know if it really helps, but if it doesn't, you at least feel you're doing the right thing. The ring nut can now be screwed back into the hub and we are done. Now, some concluding words. I think it's quite clear from what I've shown in this video that there are a lot of problems involved in having to remove the ring nut. You need a special tool. This tool is expensive. You need a bench vise. The ring nut often is so tight that you need to heat it or use something to get extra leverage. All these things wouldn't be necessary if the bearing behind the ring nut could pass through it, but it can't. On the other hand, the bearing sits deep inside the hub, where it is well protected against moist and dirt. Eventually, however, you will need to replace this bearing. I'm sure the manufacturer was aware of all this, but it was apparently decided to go ahead with the design anyway. Although I think the problems were underestimated, I hope you now at least know what the problems are and how to solve them. Thank you for watching.